Two of the most popular rounds on the BSB calendar. Donington Park, it's fast, flowing and open. Cadwell Park, this place, in comparison, is like racing around on a postage stamp. Yet all four riders are keen to put on a show. Welcome to episode 4 of Beyond the Blade. Cadwell Park is the home round of BSB for Honda Racing UK. In fact, their headquarters are about 5 miles over that hedge. There are no home comforts here though. The place represents a mountain of challenges for the whole team, not least because the paddock and the pits are separated by a live circuit. Before they can be hometown heroes, the boys race away at Donington. You'll have already seen their podium success, but we caught up with the boys to get their thoughts on round 5. Tom, a win in the first race at Donington, unfortunately demoted back to second post-race after passing Luke Mossey under a yellow. That must have stung.
I mean, if you watch a race back, you can't even hardly see that yellow. And I mean, I didn't watch the race till yesterday, and but it was a clean, fair pass with one corner to go. Like, I just felt I did the safest thing. Pretty gutting, to be fair. It would have been my first win of the year. Yeah, it just fired me up even more for Sunday's race.
Clearly you absolutely dominated that race, led it from start to finish. I think you finished 2.6 seconds up the road ahead from everyone else. My question is, at what stage of the race do you allow yourself to start thinking about winning?
I like the pressure of leading. You've got a clear track, there's no one in front of you, you're not getting too flustered. It's more the latter parts of the race where thoughts start creeping in.
Oh, the front one's got the front!
Started riding a bit tense and making my bike have chatter and stuff like that. But like the first parts of the race, even with like plus 0.1 on my pit board, 0.2, I didn't feel pressured. I felt calm. I had no one in front of me to muck my lines up. I just was trying to be smooth, open my lines and just keep focused really. As a team, we're all gelling together really nice now. I'm back with my coach again this weekend and just things are really starting to click again after my fitness and health not being quite right over the winter and knee surgery and one thing or another. Like, in reflection now, I'm really starting to feel good again and it couldn't come at a better time. I think we was 37 points down coming into the weekend and now we're joint first. So like, I never expected that. It's such a big change around and yeah, I've got some really good rounds to look forward to.
So Glenn, 2 second places at Donington. I've completely forgotten the question. It's only one line long. I'm going to have a look. Okay, there it is. So Glenn, 2 P2s, bringing home the silverware. I'm completely one up as well. So Glenn, 2 second place finishes at Donington. How do you carry that positivity forward to here at Cadwell?
It's quite easy. It's always easy to carry a result and the momentum to the next track.
First from Glenn Irwin on the number 2 Honda Fireblade. Second place is a close run thing. Glenn Irwin just hangs on.
You know, a result lifts your own confidence. You know, we always believe in ourselves, but getting them better results just gives you that little reminder of what you can do and what you have done. It's why we go racing. You know, like I said, we don't go just for ourselves. It's such a team sport. We put the hours in off the track in our way, and the boys back at Louth put the hours in their way as well. So, yeah, it's you walk in, everyone's happy.
A crash in race 2 bounced Glenn out of the running and into the med centre with a dislocated shoulder. The shoulder popped back into place and his bike rebuilt. He was ready for the final race of the day. Drama wasn't over when race 3 was halted due to rain. With a wet race declared, teams and riders took a gamble on tyre choice for the restart. The boys opted for intermediates, a choice that paid off. Rio bagged his highest place finish of the season so far, and Glenn crossed the line in second position.
Race 3 is my first riding intermediate tire. So first 5 laps have to understand, but after 50 laps it's more running, more pace up. So maybe 13, finish 13.
I didn't dream of doing anything cool like this after walking off with the shoulder hanging out earlier. Yes, my shoulder was dislocated. Yes, it was out for 10 minutes. We got it back in, and honestly on the bike I felt good, so I can't use it as an excuse as to why we didn't win the last race. Tommy rode mega, and we done a really solid team job this weekend, and hats off to Tom and for his win and Rio's first points in BSB.
So the riders clearly do everything on track, but it's the team that does everything off it. I've spoken earlier on this season about just how tight-knit the Honda Racing UK team effort is. It really is. Work together, eat together, train together. Earlier on this season, I joined the boys for a very, very early start for a communal workout. Check it out. How long? Yeah, it's just a warm-up. Brilliant. Feel amazing. Can you tell? I'll tell you something though. I've been looking for little kind of cheats and things that the team do to make their bike better. And I don't think there's a single other team in the British Superbike paddock that would get out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning to go and train with each other. There's spanner men, the crew chiefs, the riders, team manager. If you work in a BSB team, if you work anywhere and you don't like your boss enough to get out of bed at 5 o'clock on a Friday morning and go to the gym, then maybe there's a little lesson in teamwork to be learned here as well as feeling like I do. I'm going to get on with it. There you go. Because I'm worth it.
Pole position, that's like. The top, come on.
I'm absolutely empty. Felt pretty good to do a workout, but I haven't done many this year. Like most of us, lockdown means not much of anything. Really did get a sense of teamwork from those guys. Everybody's competitive. Doesn't matter what job you've got in the team. When you've got your Honda shirt on, in the gym, everyone's trying to beat each other. It's really good to see. I'm really glad it's over. We done? Yeah. So in terms of the bigger picture, it's not just about going to the gym and hanging out with each other, but clearly that kind of teamwork feel really does run a lot deeper in this team than any other one that I've ever seen before. Now, there's one other guy in the team that I want to talk about in this episode. It's a slightly older chap over the back. I'm sure he won't mind me referring to him as the slightly older chap. It's Neil Fletcher. He's the managing director of Honda Motorcycles UK. I've known Neil for a couple of years. The guy is absolutely everywhere. If I go on a press launch on the other side of Europe, there he is. If I go and do an adventure bike gig in Wales, there he is. Come racing. He's part of the team here as well. I sat down with Neil to have a conversation about the bigger picture stuff. The wheels within wheels within wheels that have to turn for Honda, as the mighty Honda, as a corporation, to do what they do in the UK. So I've been on a number of Honda trips in the last 15 years as a motorcycle journalist, lots of foreign press launches, lots of race events, lots of general media events, and pretty much everywhere I go, Neil Fletcher is there. Neil is the head of motorcycles for Honda UK. You're also the team principal for the Honda Racing UK BSB team, Neil.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
My first question to you in this catch-up that we're about to have is, do you ever get a day off, ever?
Not many, especially the way the season's panned out this year with the kind of condensed package of races, the triple headers every week. So, you know, this week, for example, we go straight to Thruxton.
Yep.
So there's not a lot of time in between for the team or for any of us really. But hey, look, I'm not complaining. You know, we haven't done many foreign launches, for obvious reasons. But yeah, look, it's a dream job, so I'm not complaining.
How important is it for you to see Fireblade out there on the grid racing in BSB?
Oh no, it's massively important. As you say, it's nearly 30 years, unbelievably, since Baba-san first put it out there and changed the whole environment that every manufacturer.
It was the total control principle, wasn't it? That was a key word that I thought I hadn't heard until the 2017 launch, but it turns out it was the 92 launch was the first time the total control principle was mentioned. That for me in itself is, there certainly isn't a sales pitch, and it was never supposed to be, but that feels like a massive part of Fireblade history.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, we kind of used the slogan recently with the latest blade, "Born to Race," and you know, again, I think that's more. I hope people feel that's more than just a slogan, because that is exactly what this bike has been made and designed and born to do.
You know, I've kind of grown up understanding this principle or believing in this principle of win on Sunday, buy on Monday. You know, I think it's a tyre slogan from the 30s in America, actually. You know, does that still ring true? Is that something that's ever rung true, to be fair?
I don't think it's as straightforward as that. Although interestingly, last year when the two Irwin brothers came first and second in the first race at Donington, we did hear that a guy rocked up in one of the showrooms and said, "I want that black Fireblade," and exactly so. I want one of those. So it does happen literally. But I think, as you know, and you've been involved working with us on it, there's a lot of kind of more subtle connections to our customer base, to people that are race fans, and to the whole range. So, you know, the fact that we're racing blades here, for example, helps us with people who are looking to buy maybe a CBR500 or a CBR650, because they see the link, they see the lineage. So, and as I said, you know, we were involved in racing in all forms, whether that be off-road, the junior classes, and so on. So the lineage is really important, and also we want to challenge ourselves. You know, I think that's the other thing that Honda's always done, is you develop a new bike, a huge sort of global effort that goes into that, and you want to challenge yourself against the best of the rest. And so that's kind of why we're here and why we're doing
racing
what we
does,
do.
Exactly. And is that reach as broad as power parts and boat engines and all of these other things that Honda do? Are people buying lawnmowers because they don't realise they've watched a BSB race 2 months before?
You probably have to ask them that. But I think that is kind of the $1 million question a little bit. And if I had the answer to that, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. But for sure, there's a link. A lot of people, for example, I mean, if you go onto the grid, just as a practical example, all of the tyre warmers pretty much are powered by Honda generators. And a lot
so you're basically winning all the time.
Well, you know, and there's no question that there is a direct link, but there's also that indirect link of association with Honda and the brand, and that's a biggie. That is obviously a big one for us. You know, clearly, you know, there are, you know, when you walk around the paddock here, as you've done, I know at some of the other rounds, you know, we've got real fans of Honda here, you know, and they might not own a Honda product, you know, and that's fine, but they're supporters of the brand. You know, they love to maybe buy some of the clothing and be associated with it, whether it's Mark Marquez, Glenn Irwin, you know, and that's all brilliant. You know, for me, that's the reason why we do a lot of the stuff that we do.
New York is just talking to the Superstock CBR1000RR-R Fireblade SP championship down here.
Well, let's shift to here in Cadwell. I've got quite a few questions for this place, but selfishly, first things first for me, I want to talk about the mountain. It's all about whether big, extravagant leap off the mountain equals a fast lap, or if it's just because you can.
I believe that the best way would be not sacrificing it, hitting it, and still managing to clear it.
And obviously you've got a bunch of motocross experience as well. What's harder, the send off the mountain or landing a superbike on the back wheel, on the gas, maybe out of shape?
The left-hand side, if you break the mountain into two halves, the left half is relatively safe to hit it as hard as you want. So hit it as hard as you want and you land all right. It's when you hit it on that right side. Takumi and Rio have been learning the track a bit and seen some slow motions of them, and yeah, they've been lucky in a few times, but that's track experience.
And speaking of local experience, Tom, this is not only Honda Racing UK's home track, they're 5 miles away, but it's definitely your home circuit as well. Clearly you've got stacks of experience here. You've finished at the top of both free practice sessions today. But we were talking earlier and it sounds like there's maybe some frustration from you in people maybe trying to grab a toe or just the track being too busy and you feel like you've got a load left in the tank.
You come here and you expect you're at BSB, this is the time to perform, you want to impress and you want to showcase what you can do in front of everyone. And you get up here and it's just like being on a track day. There's 47 of us on track and it's there's probably the top 8 guys we're all relatively close, but you start dropping back from that and it's a massive difference in times, and you're approaching corners a lot faster than the other guys, and yeah, it's like riding around a footpath.
Do you have any pre or post race rituals or superstitions or anything?
No, I wouldn't say it's a ritual or anything, but I've got into the habit of getting on my bike always from the left-hand side. Just stupid little things like that. It just feels like you're set up ready to go then.
And once it's worked once, you don't want to. Yeah,
that's it. I don't have any lucky underwear or anything like that though.
So it's race day 1. Free practice yesterday went really well in both Superstock and Superbike. The Superbike class are about to head out for qualifying now. Let's see how they get on. So here we are post-qualifying on race day 1. Both Tom and Glenn have qualified in P1. Any questions, doubts and concerns over the lack of data, whether or not Fireblade suited the nature of Cadwell Park? The boys have answered all of those questions with 2 pole positions. Can't say better than that. So what was I talking about when I said that the pits and the paddock were separated by a live circuit? Well, this absolute cat herding chaos behind me is what happens after the Superbike race.
So if the crew need to grab anything at all, from a sub-assembly for a bike that's been crashed and needs repairs to more fuel or more tyres, typically they'd fly out the back of the garage, there's your trucks, grab what you need and off you go. Cadwell Park, however, has this massive hill, probably 400 or 500 metres from pits to truck, and of course on that hill there's a live circuit.
It's proper chaos. Everybody knows what they're doing and they're all kind of charging around doing what they do, but it is genuine chaos over there. Yeah, this is like no other circuit really, is it?
Yeah, it does represent certain challenges that are unique to this circuit. It's still one of my favourite circuits though.
So it's worth it?
Yeah, well it's not, it's harder work, it makes things a bit more difficult, but it's not nothing insurmountable, and I do wish they'd give us a bigger gap to get.
But you do get to do the bottom half of the mountain 50 times a day in a van.
I'm getting good. I've just got the apex right here now.
Let's create an example. They go out and warm up this morning. Mm-hmm. Glenn cartwheels the bike and he needs one of the subframe sections off the truck.
Yeah, right.
They blip you on the radio.
On the radio, and also we've got Fred, who should be up here, and as soon as he gets that call, they'll say which sub-assemblies they want, and he'll get them ready. I come up, pick them up, and away we go.
So it's race day 2, Sunday morning. It's not even 8 o'clock. Boys have all had breakfast together. Up the top, above the paddock, is the hospitality unit. Above everything else Cadwell Park's really disjointed. Imagine it on 3 different levels. Pits, paddock, hospitality unit. So everyone's been fed. Then we all bundled into the truck. Bikes in there, tyres in there, wheels in there, everything in there. And absolutely straight on it. Carried everything in, left them to it. This is part of the challenge that I was talking about earlier on in the show, about the logistical nightmare that Cadwell Park represents for the team and everybody involved in the racing. But we talk about these boys being dedicated. Sideways wind and rain already, and there's people sat up there determined to get the best seat in the house for a race that starts in about 4 hours. Fair play. I think I'm going to go and take them a cup of tea as well as make these boys a cup of tea. So here we are, Cadwell Park. This grid is tiny. What you can't see behind you is 20 odd revved up racers. There's probably, I don't know, 2,000 horsepower waiting to be unleashed in this race. What you can see behind me is the run up to turn 1. The pressure here just feels massive. The hills literally have eyes. Look, you can see how close the fans are. This place is alive. Everybody's waiting to see what happens in race 1. I'm getting out of the way.
And a brilliant start off pole position by Honda Racing and Glenn Irwin.
Yeah, we came into this a few tears in my shoulder and rolled in here, a bit of cortisone stuck in and kind of suck it and see. But I felt good. As the weekend got on, things were getting more tough, but to come away with 4th and 2-6, and always in each race I always seem to have a chasing pack behind me, and it's so easy in them to roll over, but we're fighting for something here, we're fighting for showdown, and you can't roll over. So I'm surprised with what we've scored this weekend. 2 more weeks to sned it and allows us to be a little bit stronger.
It's been an unreal weekend here at Cadwell Park. It's what I've dreamt of being able to do all year, really. Full crowds, top FP1, FP2, we broke the lap record and qualified on pole, and then was leading the race until the rain came down on lap 4. So yeah, that threw a bit of a spanner in the works. The restart made a shocking start, and it was a 10-lap sprint race, and I got to about 3 laps to go and I was still in 4th place, and I was thinking, oh, you idiot, like I've ruined my chances of this dream weekend. So yeah, the yellow flags came out. I couldn't pass under yellows, obviously. I didn't want a repeat of last weekend, so 3 laps to go, the yellows were in, made my first pass, and then picked off Olsen down the back straight, and yeah, had a lap and a half to bring it home, and such a relief. Yeah, just so happy to be able to get a win and just get a clean sweep, really.
Yeah, it was great for Tom to grab the victory in Stock 1000. It's something I felt he would do this weekend. He made the moves when they mattered. I was actually standing at Chris Curve when he went round the outside of Fraser Rogers, so yeah, big kudos to him for that, and I think he's going to have a few beers tonight and he deserves so hopefully he keeps doing that, and maybe he'll be lined up beside me next year.